The first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima.
Over humanity!
The fires of frustration and discord are burning in every
Let us
city.
not forget for a moment the toils and efforts that lie ahead.
They say that those who forget their history are condemned to repeat it. This is the History Lessons Podcast with certified financial planning practitioner Patrick Huey, author of History Lessons for the Modern Investor, and your guide to financial wisdom in the past, present, and future. You ready? Good. Let's get historical.
Historical? For sure, brah. This is the History Lessons Podcast for the week of November 13th, 2023. I'm Patrick Huey, author of History Lessons for the Modern Investor. And if you're a modern investor seeking some historical perspective these days, you're not alone, and you're in the right place. This week, we'll be talking about birthday wishes, optimistic anecdotes, and a hell of a book.
But first, the news.
Well, it's both my wife and son's birthday this week, and I wanted to surprise them by saying happy birthday right here on this podcast. So, surprise. And speaking of surprises, Q3 earnings season began winding down on a relatively positive note this week. For Q3 2023, 81% of S&P 500 companies have reported a positive earnings per share surprise, and 61% of S&P 500 companies have reported a positive revenue surprise. Not bad, and that makes the estimated year-over-year earnings growth of about 4.1%. Now, if that is the actual growth rate for the quarter, and we're about 91% through the reporting, it'll mark the first quarter of year-over-year earnings growth reported since this time in 2022. You know, back when we all thought we were staring down a recession. Revenue growth has been the most significant contributor to earnings, adding 3.9%, a sign that consumers are still spending. Across sectors, energy has been the largest drag on earnings, while consumer discretionary has been the most buoyant. Frosting on the cake? Well, maybe. But analysts are now projecting year-over-year earnings growth of only 3.2% next quarter, so they're expecting a deceleration. Maybe the party is showing signs of also winding down. Corporate commentary has also been downbeat, portraying a more challenged business environment heading into 2024. And hey, management isn't the only one blowing out the candles. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index declined to 60.4, missing consensus estimates of 63.7. Given the parade of bad news, mainly in the form of political and geopolitical events, it's not surprising. But future spending hinges, at least in part, on confidence and sentiment. And that could be an issue for the aforementioned consumer discretionary sector. But fear not. I'll be helping that sector out in Q4 by buying birthday presents. Maybe it'll be enough. Next up, we'll charge the Wayback Machine and head back in time for this week's history lesson. But first, this word.
Interest rates are rising, and your annuity purchased in the last decade might not be keeping up, which means your financial plan may be falling behind. So if you own a deferred annuity, fixed, indexed, or variable worth more than $250,000, now is the time to review it and make sure it is doing all that it can for you and your financial plan. Let us help you keep your retirement on track. Introducing Victory Independent Planning. VIP turns complex financial matters into clear and confident solutions, so you can relax and enjoy retirement whenever it arrives. Get the Annuity Review Kit now. This complimentary kit includes a variety of checklists, resources, and ebooks to review the fees, features, and flexibility, or lack thereof, in your current annuity contract. It will even help you assess your overall investment goals and the people who are offering you advice. Get the kit today, because you can't teach an old annuity new tricks. To learn how VIP can help you review your annuity, click on the link in the show notes or go to victoryindependentplanning.com. That's victoryindependentplanning.com. Sign up for peace of mind today.
Hey, Alexa, charge the Wayback Machine for me and set it for 1979 AD.
Charging Wayback Machine.
On November 13th, 1979, former actor and governor of California, Ronald Reagan, announced his candidacy for President of the United States. Reagan's folksy charm led to 2 terms in the White House, though things weren't always as picture perfect as the silver screen. Born on February 6, 1911 in Tampico, Illinois, Reagan was the 40th president of the United States, serving from 1981 to 1989. Before entering politics, he had a successful career as an actor in Hollywood, and he transitioned to politics in the 1960s, first as governor of California from 1967 to 1975. Reagan's presidency was marked by a commitment to conservative principles, advocating for smaller government, tax cuts, and a strong anti-communist stance. He played a key role in ending the Cold War, fostering a thaw in relations with the Soviet Union, and he survived an assassination attempt in 1981. He faced a lot of challenges, such as the Iran-Contra affair, but he remains a revered figure among many conservatives for his economic policies and his leadership style. Reagan passed away on June 5th, 2004, leaving a lasting legacy in American politics, conservative ideology, and even a little bit in Hollywood. Now, Reagan often resorted to anecdotes to get his point across when things got tough. He was especially fond of the story about the boy who wants a horse for his birthday, but only gets a pile of horse manure. This little guy doesn't weep and he doesn't wallow. He just grabs a shovel. And when everyone asks what he's doing, he says, "I'm digging, because there has to be a horse in there somewhere." Reagan, you see, was an optimist. And optimism is in short supply these days. And yet, it's an essential component of investing. Yeah, you can be wary, upset, dismayed, perturbed, demoralized, dispirited, or discouraged in the short term. It happens. But you must believe that at some point in the future, things will be, however you define the term, better. Otherwise, you're not putting money away, counting on new inventions and new benefits for all humankind, and you're not investing. We live at the pinnacle of human progress, at least on average. As violent as the world seemingly is today with conflicts in the Middle East, as well as Ukraine, we actually live at one of the most peaceful periods in all human history. This hasn't been a straight path upward, nor has it led to perfection. Obviously, there are bumps in the road, and they're to be expected. The world is still a scary place, just as it was during the Cold War. But you must maintain a certain degree of optimism about the future. That is key to being an investor.
Wayback Machine disengaged, returning to the year 2023.
Finally, this week, it's on to the mailbag.
You've got mail.
This message is from Julie, who asked me, "Hey, I heard you're doing a book signing this weekend. Give us the details." Well, sure. If you happen to be in South Florida this weekend, I'll be signing books at the South Regional Library branch of the Collier County Library. That's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that's at 8065 Laley Cultural Parkway in Naples. It'll be me and about 40 other authors, including my lovely wife, who, fresh off her birthday, will be signing copies of her book, The Nourishment Mindset. I'll be there with copies of History Lessons for the Modern Investor, as well as my latest work of fiction, Hell, a novel. Here's a quick promotional video of that book. And for those not watching on YouTube or Substack, well, you'll still get the idea.
Midway on his life's journey, John Allman quit his job to see the world. It was supposed to be a first-class ticket to paradise, guided by his personal travel agent named Virgil. But John's past won't let him decompress, no matter where Virgil sends him. And as he tours the globe, he slowly descends through the 9 levels of hell, where his own dark secrets are exposed. Order your copy in hardcover, paperback, or for Kindle on Amazon.com.
Well, my fellow historians, that is all for this week. Check out my book, History Lessons for the Modern Investor, It's available on Amazon, or come get a copy in person this week at the book signing. And be sure to do all the social stuff for us, like this episode. Follow us wherever you see or hear your podcasts. We're available on Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Until next week, when we'll take another rollicking romp through the past and make an investment in your future with history lessons for the modern investor.
See you next week.